Manchester Velodrome. It's round 2 of the Revolution, and although it's freezing cold outside, it's lovely and toasty warm in here. Now, it's an absolute sellout, the atmosphere is buzzing, and I have a feeling it's going to get very loud in here. To the Revolution. I'm joined by a guy who lives up to his name, World Scratch Race Champion Ben Swift. Ben, it's lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, what does Revolution mean to you?
For me, it's brilliant. I've been coming to the Revolution now since it very first started, and I think it's great for the future stars. They really get to experience racing in front of a full crowd and experience the atmosphere, and even the championship riders love it.
Well, the atmosphere here tonight is absolutely electric. Now, of course, we're on round 2. In round 1, Rapha Condor Sharp absolutely dominated. They won 4 out of the 5 rounds. We also saw some fantastic performances from Owen Dool and from Jodie Cundy. And if we look at the standings at the moment, Rapha Condor Sharp lead with 62 points. In second place, it's Rouleur with 53. Team Sky, 24 points. That puts them in 9th place. They've got a bit of catching up to do, haven't they, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. They've got the work cut out for them tonight, but I'm sure they'll give it their best. Ed Clancy's going to be super hard to beat in the timed events. I mean, that's what he's great at, and there's a lot of them tonight, so it's going to be good racing.
Which events do you think they'll do the best in?
I think you're going to look to see Sky in the scratch race and the points race. I think the flying lap's got Ed Clancy written all over it.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's have a reminder what Revolution is all about. There are 5 races, each with 12 teams, and in each team there'll be 2 racers. Now, of course, we also have excitement from the women's racing. Olympic champion Marianne will be once again going up against silver medalist Lizzie Armitstead. Will it rekindle their rivalry? I think we'll have to wait and see. But now let's get straight to the action with our commentators, Anthony McCrossan and Rob Hales.
First event of the night, the flying lap, 250 metres flat out around this velodrome. Here is Graham Briggs of Rally GAC.
And Briggsy more used to the road these days. Chopping wood a little bit around the banking there, but he's not too good at the bottom of the track. Let's see what time he does.
Let's see, 15.610. Graham Briggs sets the standard for everyone else to beat. Next rider up on the track from NetApp Endura, the punchy style of Russell Downing.
And this is Russell. He's got his road legs on him at the moment in the middle of his training, but he's also got a good line here. Good technique on the track for Russ. Typical style, crouched over the handlebars here.
Russell Downing hits a line 14.676, and he goes quickest so far as the next rider takes to the boards from WD-40 in the blue and yellow, Chris Latham.
And he really has got the bit between his teeth here, Chris, really throwing himself into the back straight and into the final banking.
Looking good here, Chris Latham, heading towards the finish line. Hits it now, a slick performance, 14.162. Up on the boards now, stage winner in the Tour of Britain, riding for Sky, Luke Rowe.
And what a stage win that was, that first stage there in the Tour of Britain. Really has got a sprint on him these days, and he's using it to full effect here around the last banking.
Luke Rowe racing towards the line, the time to beat 14.162, just outside 14.694. Next up on the track then, in the World Championship bands, riding for IG Sigma Sports, Stephen Burke.
World and Olympic team pursuit champion. He really does revel in these short, sharp sprint events.
Well, he's looking very powerful, hits the line now, a tremendous ride, 13.901, top of the leaderboard. Next rider on the track then, riding for Sports Cover in the yellow and white, Oliver Wood. He's going to have to go quick to beat Stephen Burke.
Oliver Wood here really is a promising young endurance rider here on these short sprint events. What can he do? He's really trying hard up the home straight.
Hits the line 14.602 for Oliver Wood. Next up on the track then, a youngster from the Great Britain Academy, Joe Kelly, riding for Face Partnership.
Joe Kelly here really is trying to get points here for his face partnership team, driving through that last banking up the home straight.
Rode the Glasgow World Cup recently, 14.700, a solid performance from Joe Kelly. Next rider on the track then, he rode well in Revolution last time, Owen Dool of Howie's.
And the Howie's rider here really is trying hard. He's giving it everything down the back straight here.
Rocking and rolling a little bit. Owen Dool racing into the finishing straight. Hits the line then, 14.705. Fastest time, still Stephen Burke, as the next rider takes to the track. Riding for the defending champions of Revolution, Max Gear, Adam Yates.
Max Gear determined to retain that title that they won 12 months ago here on Manchester.
Adam Yates into the home straight there, racing to the line, 15.260, just ahead of the time of the rally rider Graham Briggs. Next rider up on the track, he's the German Madison champion. This is Marcel Kaltz.
And the German rider here in the middle of the winter track season, so he should have good form. Interesting to note, he's also the first rider to wear an aerodynamic helmet.
Let's see if that helps him then as he races to the line. Stops the clock. That's a great time from Marcel Kaltz, 14.075. The next rider then up on the track is John Dibben of Ruler. He rode the Glasgow World Cup just a few weeks ago. He should be on form.
And we know he's got a sprint finish, 5th place in that Junior World Road Race only a few months ago.
Hits the line now, 14.063, a strong performance from John Dibben. Last rider on the track then, the time to beat, 13.901, Ed Clancy, the world and Olympic champion.
More known for his endurance outings, but he's turning his attention to the sprint. 3rd man in the team sprint there. What can he do today?
Hits the line, a supreme performance by Ed Clancy, 13.292. He takes the win.
Ed, 13.292. Crowd loves you and you're not even sweating.
I did try hard there, to be fair. It's not been about a few weeks of training, so I did a good look at these flying laps just to sort of test where you're at, you know. And I'm having a look at the team sprint, you know, this winter, so it's good that I'm going fast because I'll need to be fast if I want to do the team sprint.
A magnificent performance by Ed Clancy to take maximum points for Rapha Condor Sharp. Fellow gold medalist from the Olympics, Stephen Burke, took 2nd, and John Dibben puts points on the board for Ruler. Coming up shortly, we have the women's elimination race, and everybody's been talking about, will it be another Marianne versus Lizzie situation? What do you think?
I think the elimination is going to be a super exciting race. Obviously, we want both girls to survive the elimination, so they've got to work hard there. And then we want to see a good sprint between the two girls, and yeah, I think we all want to see Lizzie take it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be fantastic for either of them. I know they've been working very hard. Lizzie's been training on the tracks, on the roads, and Marianne's been tweeting saying she's been here since Tuesday. And of course, if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet us too at Revolution UK. Right, well, let's hear from the girls themselves. 2 Olympic medalists, 1 rivalry. The Revolution is taking it to the next level, from the road to the track. Armitstead versus Voss. The last time they met at the Olympic road race, Voss held off Armitstead in a breathtaking sprint finish.
Well, the Olympic race was so great. I think it was the best race I've ever done. Lizzie rode so incredibly strong. I think she rode the race of her life there. And that made me worried because I didn't know how strong her sprint was going to be.
I don't think I was looking at Marianne in the race, no. She's got a poker face anyway, so you never really can tell if she's suffering. I suppose she doesn't suffer, does she? So.
And I was really nervous coming into the last K and the last few 100 meters. I had to make the perfect sprint to beat her. And that made it really a thriller. And for me, it was great to beat her there.
People have suggested that my face when I was crossing the line, I had a smile on my face. That's not true, it definitely was a grimace. It was kind of a relief at crossing the line at first and then realising I had a medal and being super excited, but then probably 10 seconds later I was already regretting not having gold.
Well, Lizzie is really strong, so I think for the future she's going to be one of my biggest rivals.
I think Marianne is everybody's main rival, yeah. She's so dominant at the moment in women's cycling, so she's the person to beat at the moment for everybody. I think me and Marianne are quite similar in our strengths and weaknesses. She's an all-round rider and so am I. At the moment she's a better climber than I am, and on the track I think maybe I'm a better tactical racer.
My biggest strength I think is my will to win, and I just love cycling. Everybody has weaknesses, but I try to keep them as secret as possible.
I think the way to beat Marianne is to have the confidence to beat her.
Well, since 2011 Worlds in Apeldoorn, I haven't been on the track. But when I got the invitation for the Revolution, I said, okay, let's do it.
The last time I was on the track was September 2011. I think tonight anybody could win. It's going to be interesting racing.
I can't remember us racing against each other on the track. So of course we see each other nearly every week on the road. But this is going to be a new experience.
If I could beat Marianne today, it would mean a confidence boost going into the next season.
I want to beat Lizzie, and I'm sure Lizzie wants to beat me.
Let battle commence. 20 riders take to the track. This is a truly star-studded women's field, looking to find out who wins the elimination race.
This is the favourite event on the calendar now here for me, especially since our own Olympic champion Laura Trott took to the boards.
This is the race then where every lap the last rider across the line is eliminated, and we work our way through the field until we end up with two riders going head-to-head for the victory.
Yep, this event all about trying to stay away from the back and stay out of trouble. And we've got Lizzie Armitstead here in second place, got herself nicely positioned here, out of trouble.
Rider taken to the front of the line then was Lucy Garner in the orange colours. Lucy Garner, a double world champion. So we're going to end up with one rider eliminated this time. Lizzie Armitstead going to the front yet again.
Jo Rousel now takes up the charge on the front as we've got the first of the eliminations taking place here.
And the first rider eliminated in the blue and white is Charlene Joyner, as a teammate of Lucy Garner, Corinne Hall, tries to get back onto the string of riders.
Yep, and Hall there at the back in the orange and black really is in trouble.
So she's eliminated. Two riders already out of the field. 18 riders left. And right at the front now is the rider from the skill team in the white and green, and that's Amy Peters.
And who's going to be out this time? That looks like Vera Cadoda, the Dutch rider. These laps really are coming round quick now.
Right at the front now, the gold medalist and silver medalist in the Olympic Games, Lizzie Armitstead and Marianne Vos, tracking each other all the time as they race round. One more rider eliminated, and that is Alice Barnes of 23C.
Yep, and Lizzie Armitstead there, just out of the saddle, keeping herself nicely positioned out of the way. She's on a wheel now as well, so she's in the slipstream. And as we've got Lucy Garner coming over the top again.
Jo Rousel almost eliminated that time. That was very, very close indeed. But the rider who is eliminated is Kaylee Brogan of Team Ibis Cycles.
And it looks now as the riders here are really starting to battle for position at the back. Eleanor Barker, it looks like there, who's just got herself put out.
Well, that's a surprise. Eleanor Barker, a very, very good time trialist, the World Junior Time Trial Champion. So she's eliminated, she drops out. And Jo Rousel, the Olympic champion, in a little bit of difficulty at the back of this group now, trying to make sure she goes through, but she doesn't. So Jo Rousel now is eliminated, and we have 13 riders left in this race.
Yep, Rousel, she used one life earlier on, a few laps ago, and she just got herself on the back foot here. Smaller group of riders now, but nobody can relax here. You just can't afford to take your eye off the riders behind you.
Lucy Martin, a teammate of Lizzie Armitstead at the back of the string that time. So she now sits up, she's out of the group, and Armitstead riding very, very well on this track, considering she has not been on the boards in a race since 2011.
Eileen Rowe gets herself put out there, where we can see where the riders are starting to bunch up. It's quite easy to get taken by surprise, but Lizzie Armitstead there, she's got herself in the middle. She's down near the bottom of the track as well. She really does need to watch out that she doesn't get caught napping.
11 riders left, but Harriet Owen there is the rider who is now taken out of the string. This race also called the Devil Take the Hindmost, as well as the elimination. Armitstead realises she's in a little bit of trouble here as she moves up towards the front, and the next rider is taken out, and that is Hannah Barnes of Team Ibis Cycles, a very, very good town centre race rider, but Hannah Barnes now eliminated.
So we're down to 9 riders now. The pressure really is starting to be applied now on the front of the bunch.
And the rider at the back there riding for Team Specialised Lululemon was Ellen Van Dyke. She has been taken off the track. The next rider at the back now in a little bit of trouble is Nina Kessler.
Yeah, and it looks like Kessler, she's just really trying to come round, and oh, she just gets caught there on the back.
So we're down now to 7 riders left on this elimination race here in Manchester for Revolution. Side by side still, Lizzie Armitstead in the blue, yellow and green alongside Marianne Voss. The next rider eliminated is the talented youngster Emily Kay.
And that's Katie Colclough there going to the front now, trying to press on as Amy Peters gets caught at the back. She's done an awful lot of work the last few laps. Has she got anything left?
Katie Colclough, talented rider, isn't she? Lucy Garner sneaks through, makes that look very, very easy indeed. Amy Peters, who's been riding towards the front of the string all the time, is now eliminated. We're down to the last 5.
And it's Voss, the Olympic road race champion, who takes up the lead. These riders need to keep an eye on each other, and Armitstead, she's doing that.
That was really close, just a millimetre or so between the 2 riders at the back. Katie Colclough is eliminated. We're down to the last 4. Remember, we will finish with 2 riders racing head-to-head on the track. These 4 riders, Voss on the front, Armitstead is there, Garner makes it, and Amy Roberts is eliminated.
So we're left with 3, but what a quality selection we've got here. All former world champions together.
This is looking great, isn't it? Marianne Voss injects a little bit more pace. Armitstead on the wheel. The double world junior champion Lucy Garner eliminated. And now we are head to head. It's a rematch of the Olympic road race with Marianne Voss and Lizzie Armitstead on the boards.
Well, at that road race, the finish up the mall, it was Voss who got the victory. What can Armitstead do here? She knows she's got to watch her. She knows that Voss has got the better sprint, and she's got her held up on the boards there. Voss here, the Dutch rider in the orange and blue. She's riding it well. She knows exactly what to do.
Last lap now. Marianne Voss in the orange and blue. She opens up the sprint. Armitstead trying to get on the wheel. This is going to be a tremendous tussle. They almost touch wheels. Round the top banking. Voss is going to go for the line. Armitstead trying to get closer, but she doesn't make it. It's a win for Marianne Voss. It's a 1-2 in the same fashion as the Olympic road race in London. Voss takes the honours.
The much anticipated rematch lived up to its hype, but ended with the same result. Voss beats Armitstead. Double world junior champion Lucy Garner showed she is definitely one to watch for the future, taking an impressive 3rd place. Coming up next, it's back to the men's championship, and it's the point race. And this one is a tough one, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it's a very tough race. It's 40 laps and you're sprinting every 10 laps, so it's a real endurance event.
And who's favourite to win?
I think you've got to look to guys like Luke Rowe, Andy Tennant and Alex Dowsett, the real endurance guys out there.
Now, is this a race that you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I love this race. It's one of the races I grew up always doing, and it suits my style.
I don't know about you, but I find it a bit confusing, so let's find out what the points race is all about.
The points race is, I think, the closest thing to hell there is.
The points race, a highly tactical event where the winner isn't necessarily the first over the line.
The sprints every 10 laps.
The whole field sprints and the first 4 riders get points.
The first person that crosses the line will get 5 points, and then it goes 3, 2, 1 points for the following riders. Basically, whoever's got the most points at the end wins.
So with there being 4 sprints, it's more about gaining points in the sprint and not so much lapping the field. Because that's the other way you can win a points race. If you lap the field, you can get 10 points. You can lap the field 5 times and still not win the race, so you've got to keep your eye on the sprints as well.
It's never easy, racing's always hard. It's hard for whatever you find. The sprinter types will find it hard to take a lap, and I find it hard to sprint, so.
It's possibly the hardest race because you're giving like full effort, 100% in the sprint, and then having to recover and go again, so it's a pretty brutal race.
Hectic.
Tactical.
Aggressive.
It's all out.
We've heard from the riders now. 24 of them take to the track for the points race. 40 laps, sprints every 10 laps, and it's all about who takes the maximum number of points to come out as the overall winner. So the riders lined up, 2 riders from each of the 12 teams. Now let's see who takes the victory.
Often team tactics come into play in a race like this. Especially with there being 2 riders, one can afford to push the wind in the front a little bit and do the work for his teammate for the sprints. I know Ed Clancy and Andy Tennant played that card a few weeks ago when we were here in the first round. So what are we going to see here today?
Well, the riders just getting themselves into a line, then the gun will fire and the race will be fully underway. And as Rob said, it is all about the tactics, how you work together and how you go all out to make sure that you get the maximum number of points at the end of the race. You lap the field, you get 10 extra points as well. And last time we saw a lot of that sort of action. Here we are on rider cam as we get an idea of just how close these riders follow in the peloton here on the boards.
Well, you're talking of action, that camera there, that's the shot to get. You can really see the close-up of the faces, especially when we get down to the back end of this race, when the riders are really starting to tire and struggle, as we've got Russ Downing here on the front, just setting a nice steady tempo at the moment at the start of this race. All the riders just trying to warm their legs up from the previous event, just trying to get into this race now.
So they'll just settle down and get things underway as we see Rally GAC towards the front there, taking over the lead. One of the riders from Sports Cover in the yellow and white, as we see Eric Rousel just swinging up from NetApp, and it looked like Alex Dowsett was taken to the front as well. So Rob, early stages and everyone prepared to do just a little bit of work. I guess a bit of etiquette as well in the group of riders. You've got to do a little bit of work. You can't just sit in the wheels.
Well, that's the idea. Generally you'll do normally half a lap on the front and then swing up, but as we sometimes see, 1 or 2 of the riders, they'll do 2 or 3 revs and then swing up. It depends how they're feeling and what kind of tactics they're playing and where they are in relation to the sprint lap. If they know they're only 2 or 3 laps from a sprint line, they want to be up near the front, but certainly not on the front, because they'll get themselves exposed and they'll have to do all the work to lead out for the sprint.
This track then 7 meters wide, and at either end the banking is 42 degrees. Anyone who ever walks in here for the first time can't believe how steep this track actually is.
Yeah, and anybody riding the track for the first time, always go into the track centre, never go outside and look down over the fence below, because I tell you, you'll never get yourself up there after that.
Yeah, get a little bit shaky as we see the German rider move off the front. Andy Tennant now takes the lead in his World Championship colours, and we're back in the middle of the peloton. There's Alex Dowsett on the left and Luke Rowe on the right. We can see Stephen Burke in the white jersey right on the wheel of this rider.
And Ed Clancy there on the right-hand side at the bottom of the track. He's trying to get himself set up for this sprint.
Well, the pace starting to go up just a little bit now, because we are getting towards the important point of these first few laps. Ed Clancy trying to tuck down, get a little bit more aerodynamic. The pace certainly starting to notch up now. Sprint number 1 underway.
Well, this is a sign of the speed. This one long line And then the riders just start to fan out as they come round the banking, trying to take the sprint.
Very, very close there. Remember, the first 4 riders across the line take the points. It was Simon Yates who took 5 for Max Gear. Joe Kelly took 3. Dowsett for Sky takes 2. And Russell Downing takes 1 point.
And here's the first of the counter-attacks, and it looks like Howie's rider there, John Mould, going off the front.
John Mould making a big effort now to try and break away. Looking to take 10 points if he can try and lap the field. It's an all-out effort though, Rob. You have to go flat out, open the gap, and then hope that everyone eases up a little bit.
Yeah, it really is a do-or-die situation here now for Mouldy. He's obviously not happy with his sprinting at the moment, and so he really does want to try and get those 10 points for the lap gain. He certainly doesn't want to be sitting back in the peloton and sprinting it out with the sort of riders that we've got in this bunch.
So we've got a counter-attack happening now as one of the riders from Team Sky tries to join up with John Mould, and that looks like Alex Dowsett is the rider who is bridging the gap.
Yep, Dowsett it is, who's going across. He's trying to get across there and get that lead and try and push on. And it looks like Russ Downing as well, trying to go off the front of the peloton.
Alex Dowsett has caught John Mould and overtaken him. The counter-attack from the peloton, here it is with Andy Tennant. We're right on his bike as we can see Russell Downing trying to close the gap up on the rider from Rapha Condor Sharp.
Yeah, and John Mould, who did that do-or-die effort, well, I think he's died, unfortunately. He's gone up to the top of the track and he's trying to get back in the wheels as we see these 4 riders now starting to go clear.
4 riders on the attack. Right at the front is Andy Tennant of Rapha Condor Sharp. In the blue is Russell Downing. Alex Dowsett is there. So is Stephen Burke of IG Sigma Sport in the white colours, but the gap has been closed. Looked like Joe Kelly who was coming across.
And all the riders now back together, nullified that sprint as we've got one of the German riders going off the front now, trying to go clear.
Non-stop action as one of the riders from Rudy Project goes on the move, trying now to attack and stay away from the rest of the field. That's a magnificent effort there to try and get away and stay away. Russell Downing right on the wheel there. Oh, very close in here, isn't it? Between these riders, Downing having to just move one of the riders out the way. This is the attack, and it is number 61, Robert Bench, the German Madison champion, going for the sprint.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. The attack was brought back by the peloton. Everybody was tired. Everybody was trying to recover, and he made his move. Good timing. Got himself out there, and maximum points there for Bench.
Bench takes 5 points. Clancy gets on the leaderboard there with 3. Couts of Rudy Project with 2. And Luke Rowe with his first points. He takes 1.
Yep, Clancy here, our number 1 Omnium rider. He'll be here. He'll be loving this race tonight, the points race, trying to gain more experience and strength for that. But let's not forget, he's also concentrating a lot more on the sprint events, the team sprint, 3rd rider as well at the World Cup.
It's an interesting move for Ed Clancy to transform himself from a team pursuiter and an Omnium rider to go to the team sprint, which is the domain of the riders like Chris Hoy. Big, powerful riders, but Clancy feels he can do it.
Well, it's Chris Hoy whose place that Ed Clancy's taken up, but of all the endurance riders in the world, Ed Clancy's the man to do it. He really does have that power off the line.
Well, he's put in some incredible kilometre performances in the Omnium discipline, which we saw at the Olympic Games. Clancy right on the front, lengthening out this string of riders and making everyone in his wheel suffer now. Clancy thriving in revolution over these 2 rounds. It was Luke Rowe who just swung up then as we move towards the 3rd sprint of the night.
And it looks like this bunch now, they've split into 2. And the front segment is trying to go off the front here. The riders here starting to apply the pressure, really aren't holding anything back here.
It was Jake Reagan of the Face Partnership team who was on the front then. Clancy keen all the time to go again to the front of the string and try and do a little bit more work. He doesn't want any of the rest of these riders to come back. We've mentioned the narrow handlebars that he is riding. I guess that's from the team sprint, gives him a little bit more aerodynamics.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's a lot of work been put in over the last couple of Olympic cycles, wind tunnel testing and everything, and it's what Ed Clancy prefers to ride, and who's going to argue with it? It certainly helps him.
On the front now is Stephen Burke of IG Sigma Sport in his World Championship colours. We normally see IG Sigma Sport in the black and red, but Stephen Burke allowed to wear the different coloured skin suit this evening. Now the attack starts to happen, and this is number 92, Owen Dool, who is going now to try and take the third sprint of the night.
Yep, sprint 3 now. Dool really applying pressure down the back straight, but Clancy, he's in the slipstream and he's got the run at him there, and over the top he goes. Maximum points there for Clancy.
Clancy made that look very, very easy indeed. 5 points for him, 3 points for Luke Rowe, scoring yet again. Owen Dool with 2 and Russell Downing with 1 point.
Russell Downing here on the front. He's just crossed the line after taking points, and he's now applying even more pressure on the front. He really is going well, obviously going through the winter well with his road training.
Well, we're inside the last 10 laps of this 40-lap race as we see Luke Rowe on the front yet again, gritting his teeth. 5 riders on the attack. Luke Rowe on the front. Russell Downing is the rider in the blue. Clancy is up there. Stephen Burke looking good. He's had a little bit of a layoff since the Olympic Games, but he's right back here on form and now building towards the next major competition.
Yeah, we've got Burke and Clancy both in this front group of 5. Although they're both riding in that same World Championships jersey, they are here tonight riding 4 different teams.
So Clancy on the front yet again. I think it's Owen Dool who's the other rider who makes up this group of 5. 2 more riders trying to race across, and as we near the final sprint of the night, it looks like another 2 riders may well have bridged up to the leaders.
Yeah, that looks like Ed Clancy's teammate there, Andy Tennant, and Rally GAC's Graham Briggs has come across as well.
Well, Graham Briggs, we know, has had a magnificent road season. He's won Premier Calendar races. He was right on fire in the Criterium races, the town centre style races, and Briggs doesn't ride the track a lot, but he's up there in the top 3.
Yeah, he really did end the season on a high. He was going really well in the Tour of Britain as well, on that big stage with Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, where he took the lead there up on the Caerphilly Mountain.
He did. He took it on the Caerphilly Mountain. There is Russell Downing. We're getting towards the final sprint of the night now. We've got the attack from Luke Rowe, who's going out alone, bidding to take the final points. And actually, if he can do this, and if Clancy doesn't mop up too many points here, then Luke Rowe could find himself at the top of the leaderboard, and that would be another great performance for Team Sky tonight. We can see Owen Dool starting to suffer a little bit as the 2 riders from NetApp Endura start to work together. Eric Rousel leading out Russell Downing. Last lap, Luke Rowe on his own.
Yeah, Luke Rowe really does need points here for Team Sky, and it looks like Andy Tennant there and Ed Clancy. Look at Ed Clancy coming from all the way at the back of that group there. Way too far back he started this sprint.
Well, Luke Rowe crosses the line. He takes the maximum points, and that will also mean that Luke Rowe, with those points, with 5 ahead of Tennant with 3, Yates with 2, Dool with 1, means that Luke Rowe will win the points race here at Revolution tonight.
Luke, a bold move from you there to win the final intermediate and steal it from Ed Clancy.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. I'm still trying to get used to being back on the track, but yeah, I just thought I'd go out there, try and race hard and see what happens, and yeah, it turned out that I won it by a point, so happy days.
Can you run through how it unfolded? Because Alex Dowsett, your teammate, was also a favourite going into this.
Yeah, I think it was only 4 sprints, so I didn't have the speed to go for the first sprint, so I sat that one out and then just committed to the last 3, and think I feel like I can just go and go. If that was a bit longer, it would have suited me better. But the other guys seemed to tie up a little bit, so towards the end I had a bit more gas and yeah, paid off.
Luke Rowe, sporting a distinguished Movember effort despite it being December, wins the points race ahead of Ed Clancy. A good performance from last year's winner Max Gear as Simon Yates makes it into the top 3. In a moment, we'll see the final event of the evening, the Madison time trial. But first, let's bring you up to date with news of 2 other races. In the 40-lap scratch race, Alex Dowsett lapped the field to secure a comprehensive victory and move Sky further up the leaderboard. In the elimination race, it came down to a battle between NetApp Endurers Russell Downing and Luke Rowe. Team Sky may have started Revolution badly, but their performance tonight has been almost faultless. Russell Downing led out the final sprint, but Luke Rowe had the speed and finesse to come round him to take the win, his second of the night. Hi there. Well, we've had a fantastic night of racing so far, and we're coming up to the final race of the night, the Madison. Now, this is a race that you're very familiar with, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, I love this race. It's a little bit different to a traditional Madison. It's a 1 kilometre time trial, and it's very unique to the Revolution.
And you've actually you've won one here, haven't you?
I've won one in my time. It's a real crowd favourite. You know, you get involved with the crowd, and it's all about timing, and it's crucial to get that handling right.
And if you don't, I suppose a crash is inevitable, is it?
Oh yes, the guys are going as fast as they can, and if they mess it up slightly, then it's yeah.
Have you had any crashes whilst doing a Madison handling?
Yeah, but not in the time trial, so.
All right. And tonight, of course, do you think it will be an obvious win?
And the 2 guys that are standout favourites, Ed Clancy and Andy Tennant, they win it. Revolution in all the time.
There we go then, odds are on, the bets are in, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's hand it over to our commentators.
A race synonymous with Revolution, the Madison time trial. 1 kilometre on the track, riding in pairs, and WD-40 are the fastest team so far with a time of 59.524.
And here we've got Stephen Burke, who'll be looking for his partner Tom Murray. This is a good pairing we've got here for this event.
Certainly is. They've got different styles. Stephen Burke, the Olympic pursuit champion in the team discipline, looking round now to see where Tom Murray is. Murray puts his hand out. There's the sling. And now it's got to be about flat out 2 laps of the track.
Not a bad change there. Quite neat, nice and clean. No time lost there as we get the bell, and this is where the legs really do start to hurt coming into this back straight now. Half a lap to go.
Tom Murray looking good, hugging that black line round the bottom of the track most of the time. The shortest way around, racing now to stop the clock. The time 59.239, and that's the fastest time so far.
Good time there, gone under the minute barrier. As we've got these pair now starting to wind it up. Half a lap to go to the change.
The 2 riders then from Ruler up on the track. John Dibben we have seen right on form so far. His teammate Sam Lowe is on the track as well. Let's see what this pairing can do.
Good style here by Dibben, holding a very good line, really starting to push the pressure on now. He's looking for Sam Lowe. Where is he? Well, he's got half a lap to go till he catches him.
Got to get this absolutely right, haven't you? You cannot get your spacing wrong, otherwise you end up doing almost 2.5 laps. Lowe now thrown right into the action. Let's see if they can beat the fastest time so far.
Yeah, technically this is a very, very difficult event. Not many tactics, but technicalities of the change then play a massive role in here in not losing too much time between that changeover with the riders.
Sam Lowe piling on the pressure now, trying to just relax those arms a little bit. Racing to the finish line, hits it, 58.464, top of the leaderboard, looking good tonight.
Now that's a nice time there, as we've got these next 2 riders, the 2 German riders coming in here. These riders know exactly what they're doing in this event.
They certainly do. They are the national Madison champions of Germany, Kaltzenbench, as they race around the track. Team Sky have won 3 races tonight. They won't win this one. A disappointing time of 59.956 for Team Sky, as Rudy Project try to eclipse the time now of Rouleur.
They really are going well here. Technically, as we said earlier, these two guys really know what they're doing. This is going to be a good change. It's got to be a good change, and it is.
That handsling looked really powerful there, Rob. You could see the acceleration of the change. Now it's about this final lap. Can they beat the time of Rouleur? 58.464 is the time to beat.
Well, we've got half a lap to go now. The pain really is starting to come on now up this home straight.
Hits the line now, 56.660. A great time by Rudy Project. They're happy with that.
Now then, this is going to be a time. If anybody can beat the time of the Germans there, this is the team to do it. Clancy and Tennant.
Let's see what tactics they go with now then. It looks like they're going to go with Ed Clancy to lead off and try and really get them up to speed.
Yeah, not the quickest of changes and not the technically adept change, but they're going okay at the moment. Clancy, he's got a good position, especially with those narrow bars. Really is pushing on now.
He's right on the front of the saddle, on top of the gear, looking for his partner Andy Tennant any moment now. The time to beat, remember, by the Germans from Rudy Project is 56.660.
And there's the change. Good change there. Half a lap a little bit late. I think Clancy's obviously the strongest one at the moment, and Tennant wanted just to do the lap and a half there for the finish. He's going really well at the moment. A good line at the bottom of the track there.
Andy Tennant fully in pursuit mode now as he almost stamps on the pedals round the top banking. Can they beat the time? Hits the line, 55.249, and that's a brilliant win by Rapha Condor Sharp. They smash it.
Both riders there acknowledging each other. What a great piece of teamwork.
Rapha Condor Sharp's Andy Tennant and Ed Clancy show that they are kings against the clock. They win the Madison time trial ahead of the German team Rudy Project. Sky will be disappointed with their 6th place. So at the halfway point of the Revolution series, here are the standings. Rapha Condor Sharp continue their dominance, Rudy Project move up to 2nd place, leapfrogging Rouleur, and Team Sky appear on the leaderboard for the first time.
The edge in this competition, because dominant again this round as you were last?
I don't know.
I think it's you.
No, I think we're just getting stuck into like the shorter puncher events, where we can take advantage and just make sure we're trying to win the flying lap in the Madison Kilo, and in the longer races where it's a little bit more of a lottery and we're a little bit more in the middle of the bunch, just making sure we don't give up and just keep fighting for the sort of top 12 places. I think like last year, we were probably both guilty of just sort of like, winning a few, but in the races, we would just sort of, we'd almost like race a race and then sit out of a race. And I think this year we're just a little bit more consistent in the bunch race and just trying to pick up a few more points. And I think that's doing the overall lead some good.
Well, we've had a fantastic night of racing. Well done to Team Rapha Condor Sharp for managing to win another round. But Ben, do you think they could win the series?
Yeah, they've had a great night of racing tonight. They've built up a big lead, so it's going to be tough to close that gap.
And what have been your highlights tonight?
I'd say the points race tonight, it was a great race and it came down to the final sprint.
Let us know which one you enjoyed the most. You can send us a tweet at Revolution UK. Remember, we'll be back again on the 9th of January on ITV4 for round 3. But until then, goodbye!